Alright, this is the second experiment. This is the batch that sat in pickling salt overnight in layers of onions and tomatoes. These are, again, mostly Romas, but not all. There's a early variety in here. Also, a beef steak type tomato and a German pink. All of which were taken at the green stage. So now the key is to get these out of the brine and then strain them and then put a spice mix together. So I'll do all that and come back. Just a quick reference. This is the book I'm using, first published in 1973, I think. It's pretty good. It's very practical. It doesn't wax poetic about any of this. This is a very practical guide to putting food up. So I really like it, recommend it. Pro tip here, a lot of people will just dump the brine that sat overnight, which mine did, straight into a colander. And the problem with that is the layers will all stick together and it'll be really hard to get all the excess salt off. So I'm using this old bowl and just running some water lightly over it for a minute or two, and then I'll move it into a colander, and then we'll go from there. It'll be nice and clean, desalted, and ready to go. Alright, so this is just brown sugar, cider vinegar. It's a different brand than we use this one, because I ran out of that one. This one's pretty good. It's an organic cider vinegar you get it at Whole Foods. Most of them, I forget what it's called. Anyway, it's not, it's not bottom of the barrel. Let's just say. That's my spice sack. It's got cloves, allspice, mustard, black pepper, one or two other ingredients. Really similar to the spice mix from yesterday. Although the rest of the recipe is very, very different from yesterday, so I'm anxious to compare these. So this comes with a bowl right here, and I'm just going to blend the vegetables over and try not to make too much of a mess. Very nice. And of course, good. Now, theoretically, there's not a lot of liquid in here. Just a cup and a half of the vinegar. And presumably the tomatoes have released all of their, or most of their liquid. So I'll be anxious to see what happens here. You're supposed to bring this back to the boil and then let it go for 30 minutes before you hot pack it. So I'll do that. I'll let it come to a boil and cover it, keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't burn. Give it 30 minutes, which means I'll come back in 30 minutes. It also means I get to have breakfast now. All right, dog, it is time. So we're gonna go this way. And a couple things have happened. I had breakfast. So I've got that going for me, which is nice. I'm bringing the cool jars up to temperature. And some lids, and then I've got over here, this is cooked down into that, which is cool. Again, it's a different recipe than yesterday that involves a lot of heat, and somewhat shockingly, since this is going to be a hot pack, the recipe calls for putting this back in the boiling water bath for 15 minutes. So it's going to see another 15 minutes of heat once these are packed. but it smells good, it looks good. I've got some pint jars, I've got some half pint jars. You know, if it's any good, it might be nice to spread it around a little bit at the holidays. And if it's not any good, then those half pints might make good holiday presents for several of the more distasteful board members. But we'll see. Alright, just a quick, sort of the wrong way to do it, but, you know, this will be it. It does allow me to control where the water goes. So this will go over here. Another one. And we'll get the rest. So I mentioned that I did that the wrong way. I mean, I did it on purpose, but I'll show you the right way, which is to get these kind of grabbers. They're really cheap, and you know, I guess they do the job, right? They're just supposed to clamp over the top of these guys, and so you can lift them in and out safely. So that's what I'm going to do. So right away, the yield here is quite a bit less than yesterday, even though we used more produce at the beginning. It's because of the long cooking. Everything cooked down. These vegetables are very soft. This is going to be, I'm going to predict this is not going to be a success. And these may have better use as a spread or a marmalade, you know, maybe a relish. But this ain't going to be a pickle because it's too soft in my view. And so despite using, you know, what's really considered to be a classic recipe from a classic cookbook, I'll bet we're going to strike out on this one. But we'll see at the end when we do a taste comparison and kind of line them up.